49
Good day, everybody. Alright, so today let's talk about what triggers you. So, part of like your self-healing and getting used to everything is learning what triggers you. And what I mean by this is some people say like, oh, this person needs anger management. Not always. Because at the end of the day, it could just be you getting frustrated and you just react wrong. So, you gotta figure out what triggers you and why. Some people, it's like, the whole, driving down the road, you have road rage. That can be one of your smaller triggers. Someone touches the brakes too much and it triggers you. Or you hit every single stoplight since you got in the car. There's so many different triggers, so it's really hard to just go, that's mine, or that's mine. Because you might not even know you have triggers. Anytime that something happens and you go boom and you get mad, that's your trigger. So when you learn these triggers, sometimes you don't see them. Sometimes it takes a person going, you did this or you did this, and that can trigger you also. So you got to learn to be very open when someone talks to you. It's really hard at the end of the day, and I'm not even going to debate it because I'm still dealing with triggers that I don't even know about. But when you start noticing let's just say one trigger or two triggers, when you start spotting them, it makes it really easy to spot the other ones. I've got, with my last job, it really opened my eyes because they had a lot of triggers. We'd be at work and something just didn't go right for them. They get frustrated, and next thing you know, I'm being chewed out even though I did everything I was supposed to. I remember one day we were on a job, and I don't know if I was looking for a tool or asking how something needed to be. Oh, I think it might have been like I was looking for a specific screw and we didn't have it, and I was asking. I walked around the corner. They were very frustrated. I didn't know. I walked up and it's like, what the fuck are you doing over here? Sorry my language. But it was just, why are you over here? You should have done this. You should be doing this. You could be doing this. You could have just called me. And I walked over like, what did I do? It was really hard to work with him, and it was one of the reasons why I quit the first time. And once I kind of realized that it was frustration that was triggering him, I gave it another shot. And the second time, that'll be in the next video. Let's put it that way. But y'all find out later. So when you find your triggers, the best thing I can tell you is you need to be focused on the outcome, not what's in front of you. So like for me, I noticed that I needed money. Well, it was one of those things like I wanted to spend money. So me going back to work with them, it was one of those things that my goal was to make it to Friday to get my check. Whatever he said, whatever he did, in my head it's just, he's broken. Can't deal with him. All I'm going to do is just say, okay, and nod my head. Some of my triggers are, date back from when I was younger. Being bullied in school and being called names or whatnot. So if I get called a name sometimes, boom, it's one of my triggers. Another trigger that I've had is if something's not going right, I get frustrated, and next thing I know, it's just like it's getting worse and worse, and then I pop. It's really hard to spot these triggers until you watch it pop. Here lately, it's one of those things like when I see it pop, I back off, I walk away, and then it makes it easier to catch that trigger next time. You know, like I said in my last video, some of my triggers were based on what other females did to me, and when I seen something similar happening, my first trigger was they're doing it. This person, you know, this person's doing it to me also, and sometimes you say things you're not supposed to, and it's really hard to come back from. So I know that, you know, triggers do happen, and sometimes you can't avoid them. We're not perfect. It's okay if you have one episode out of like 20. You know, it's kind of like work-related injuries. You're never going to avoid all possible injuries. All you can do is, if an injury happens, you see why it happened, and then you look to see what you can do in the future to prevent it from happening again. Triggers are the same way. You know, I've got, you know, a buddy that when things go wrong for him, he gets triggered, and his first thought is, I'm gonna burn it down. We'll be working on one of his vehicles. It's not going right. He wants to burn it to the ground. Funny story. Him and his well, let's not go there. But something happened. He threatened to burn the house down. Now, do I think he's going to do it? No, because at the end of the day, it's just him reacting. You can't necessarily get mad at these people, because at the end of the day, they're already in a negative mindset and they're already frustrated. So if you attack them, or you feel their frustration, no pun intended, but if you feel it, all you're going to do is make it worse. All you're going to do is take that trigger and pull it and go boom, because they're already ready to go. Don't make them go. The best thing I can do, or best thing I can say, is just be calm and whatnot. And when, let's say, an hour goes by and they're all calm, cool, yada yada yada, you approach them and be like, look, I know what's going on. You got really frustrated and a trigger happened. Let's talk about it. Let's see if we can prevent it from happening again. Now what this does is, they've already calmed down, so they're not in that zone no more. And when you're approaching them in a positive mindset, with a positive tone and everything, you have a better chance of showing them their trigger. Now, chances do happen, and you can, you know, re-hit that trigger if you don't wait long enough, or if you come at them in a aggressive manner, because you don't want to touch aggressiveness with aggressive, because you don't poke a snake when it's rattled up, ready to hit. Instead, you back away, wait for it to uncoil, and then, you know what I'm saying? So look at these people that are in these triggers as a rattlesnake. You don't want to poke the rattlesnake, because the rattlesnake will hit you, and you'll hit the ground. Same thing goes with these people that are triggered. You know, it's really hard to catch triggers sometimes. So the best thing I can say is, if you have somebody around you and you know you tend to lash out with anger sometimes, if someone comes to you very positive in a separate mindset, after, you know, later, listen to them. Because, you know, if it's your significant other, you might lose them. Now, if this is a significant other talking and listening, you have to be prepared for that for to hit a trigger, because um, if you touch one of their triggers while trying to explain, um, it's really easy to set them off per se. You got to be ready for that. Now, I'm not saying have 911 ready to go, but at the same time, if you see them start to bubble and you see them starting to get frustrated, back off. Be like, you know what? Maybe now's not the time. Um, let's sleep on it and let's talk tomorrow. Because when you say that and when you approach it that way, it hits a different trigger. It hits a, wait a minute, what's happening? Because they were just about to attack me, but now they're backing away. Did I do something I wasn't supposed to? Did I react wrong? That's how it works. And it works for broken people that necessarily are scared, because a scared person, if you put them in a corner, they become an aggressive person because they're scared still. So if you have somebody that's on drugs and you want to necessarily try to talk them off drugs or talk them off alcohol, you don't want to talk to them while they're on the drug, because necessarily you can touch a trigger really easy and they might not be able to control that trigger. Same thing with alcohol. You gotta wait until they're not in. You gotta wait until they're in a clear mindset, because you want to talk to them with a clear mindset. You want to, Now, let's say they're like, well, I need a drink before we do this. Be like, look, let's talk for a few minutes. Let's talk about a few things, and then we'll have a drink. Because what you're going to do at that point is you're going to give them the incentive, but you're also going to keep them with a clear mindset. Now, once they get intoxicated after that, their brain's going to react to what was said, and they're going to process it. They might have to drink to process it. It's okay. Just don't approach them after they start, because because they might not be able to control it, versus, because at the end of the day, a lot of the people who have these triggers, like domestic violence, drug abuse, just spurts of anger, a lot of that happens because they get frustrated for some reason. At the end of the day, you have to learn why. You have to approach them with a clear mindset, and you have to be positive and very calm. Because if you're not, you might not have a good reaction. You also need to judge how they're acting the whole time. Now, for everybody that doesn't have this significant other and they still have these frustrations, for y'all, you don't want to just get frustrated and then necessarily go drink some alcohol, because you're thinking it might clear your head and it might do it, but what it's going to do is it's going to fog your thoughts, and that frustration, it might get better for right now, but then you go try to do whatever you were doing again, your fuse is going to go from here to here, so you're going to get frustrated quicker. Now that, you might say, oh, that beer might do me better, I'll be calm now. No, you're just going to be a little bit more ready to go. You're going to feel more comfortable, because, they say it's liquid courage for a reason. So when you go to approach this thing, you're like, yeah, I got this, I'm going to do it. And then something happens. Guess what? That trigger's going to go from here to here real quick. So I'm not a fan of drinking, obviously, because I drank from when I was 21 until I was about 32, 33. When I was 32, I decided that I didn't really want to drink much anymore. So every time I went out, everybody wanted me to drink, and I'm like, no. And then, there for a while after I backed off, I cut it down to say 1 drink a night. Now, the problem with 1 drink a night is that 1 drink is not going to do anything for me. It's not going to set me off. It's not going to, it's just going to make me chill. But when you have 1 drink, an hour from now, I'm going to be tired. Everybody wants to still be out, hanging out, and partying, and doing this, and I'm ready to go to sleep. Because my body's already processed this stuff, and now it's wanting to get it out. Well, when your body wants to get rid of something, it needs to shut down so it can clear the system. Guess what? You get tired. So you either choose to keep drinking to stay awake, or go sit in the corner and be a Debbie Downer. So I switched to just nothing because I didn't like it. I didn't like where I went. Now, I was never an angry drunk. I might have had maybe 1 or 2 episodes while drinking. I can think of one where I chased my buddy with a chain on New Year's because he wouldn't give my keys back. I didn't want to drive. I just wanted my keys. Meaning, I wanted them in my possession. That was a trigger for me. I didn't like someone holding on to my stuff. I didn't like them having my keys because they were my keys. Because I felt that if I didn't have my keys, somebody else was going to drive my vehicle. And I wasn't cool with that. So that was one of my triggers. Another trigger, well, let's just say he did something really bad and then he tried to, he was talking to another female while he had, a fiance. And I'm not the type of person to go all negative and just call a fiance. I'm the person that whoever he's talking to, I'm going to tell them he didn't like it. So when he questioned me about it, I was like, yeah, and? And, he bounced off, blah, 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 blah. Well, we ended up tussling, yada, yada, yada. Long story short, instead of me throwing him through the banister, my buddy's house we were at, he ended up just yanking him off, and he went through the banister. And then the next day he's like, y'all went through it, and it was like, nah, you threw him through it. So that's beside the point. But that's, a whole other story. But, at the end of the day, you just have to learn to avoid the obstacles and just keep going for what the goal is. If the goal is to be happy and healthy, when you see that trigger, just like, you know what? I'm better off just not doing nothing, not saying nothing. And part of that's, just learning who you are. And when you learn who you are, you begin to, see the things you don't like. It took me working with the one person and watching all of his triggers to go, if I continue being the way I am and I don't change, I'm going to be like him in 7-8 years. I didn't like it, and I didn't want it. So I started watching for what my triggers were. And another thing is when someone starts noticing that you don't get triggers no more, they're going to get, they're going to congratulate you, they're going to feel proud. And you're going to have a lot more people wanting to be around you because they're not watching out for your triggers. Now, for anybody that has people in their life that they see have triggers, help them. Tell them they have triggers. Explain it to them in a nice way. For me, I'll be sending this video to some people because they probably don't know that they have these triggers. But if anybody has any topics that they would like me to cover, or have any questions or whatnot, or even want to know about a subject about a weird story that I might have, or a set of stories I might have, hit me up in the comments. I'm more than likely I'll cover it. Now, if it's a weird subject I don't know about, I'll do my research. I got my laptop right here. I'll look it up. I'm pretty sure I can cover it. So if you like this video, hit the like button. Uh, if you want to subscribe, I need 1,000 of them. I want to, I want to be able to, do more with my channel. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to help people. If you know somebody that needs to see this video, share it to them. We can't make the earth a better place if we continue to let people have triggers in everything. We need everybody to be at a healthy mindset. We need everybody to have great mental health. So let's work on that, and let's do everything we can to make everybody's life better, because the more mental health that we can fix, the more we're going to be happy and healthy. I love everybody. I cut people off for a reason, because I don't do negative energy, because some of that negative energy is my trigger. There's family that I've cut off for a reason. I don't do negative energy no more. These last 3 years, I've wanted to get control of my life, and I've wanted to be the best person I can be. Mainly in the last 2 years is, I've been doing more physical than mental. Here in the last 6 months has been when I've tried to get a hold of all my mental issues. 3 years ago I started. I took a break from my mental to do my physical. I'm feeling great. I look great. I don't see it, but everybody else does, so I'm cool with it. But at the end of the day, let's be great. I love you. And everybody, have a great day.